Hey, Jonathan
TANIEJ
Rogers.
Games. And today we're here to showcase a new expansion for PoE 1. It's certainly been too long since we had one of these.
Oj, zbyt długo.
We had some struggles as a studio for a little while there.
Czekaliśmy
We've got
zbyt
our shit
długo.
together and we're back in action now. Path of Exile Secrets of the Atlas is coming out 1 week from now on the 13th of June. And we're committing right now to a 4-month cycle for both PoE 1 and
Mówią, że
2.
obiecują 4
That means the
miesiące
next
cyklu
PoE 2 league will be in
między
August,
ligami.
and the next PoE 1 league after that will be in October.
I już zapowiadają, że w
Twitch drops are
październiku
enabled
nastąpi
on
liga.
today's live stream, so you'll be able to claim your Skull of Undeath helmet skin by
Co
following
szkodzi
the instructions
obiecać?
below. This Skull of Undeath will track and show
Czekajcie,
your
póki
total
pokazują
number of
skina,
kills,
to czekajcie.
deaths, and your KDR. Just because Path of Exile isn't a
już
first-person shooter
odpalam.
doesn't mean this isn't important.
Okej.
Proudly or shamefully,
Czekaj.
link it to your friends or in global chat to show it off.
Okej.
And with that, let's get to why
Dawaj
you're
wyższą
here.
jakość?
Secrets
Nie
of the
mogę?
Atlas.
You can search 1,000 worlds and still never truly discover who you are.
Kto to? Kirak.
Trust me. I should know.
Kim jesteś?
But now, I seek something more tangible.
Zana jest teraz mężczyzną?
Someone I care for. Trapped within the Atlas.
Jest
Reliving
powrócany.
memories.
O, to jest Waldo Cesarius, to jest
Made
Shooter!
grotesque.
Nie? Co tu się dzieje?
Made foul. These
O, to dobrze
manifestations
wygląda.
must be destroyed. Their threads
Czemu to jest
must
arbiter
be
of Ash po jeden?
eradicated. I must have answers. We must find the originator. We must save
Ej, Shaper był rudy?
my sister.
Nie mów, że jest wsada. New Endgame Mechanics. Zdradzany. Completed King's March. Aha! Co? Co to jest Runegraph?
Come, child. Drink deep the waters of
Wiedziałem,
life.
że będzie Betrayal rework. Wiedziałem.
You're either a client or a target.
Mercenaries? Wait, what? Masz merca? Tak, kurwa, merc is the fuck! Którego girujesz? Widzieliście? Girujesz go normalnie, dajesz mu wszystkie itemy. Dajesz mu pełen secik. Dobra, pokaż mi to.
Hi, I'm Mark Roberts,
Mark
Game Director
Roberciński.
on Path of Exile.
Cicho, bo Marek mówi.
As you just saw from the trailer, there's a lot to show you.
Kurwa dzieje.
Today, we will take you on a deep dive into the new Path of Exile Secrets of the Atlas Endgame update.
Marek
Then,
Bobert.
we'll explore the new Challenge League, the Mercenaries of Trathus. After that, we'll cover the integration of gold into PoE 1 and how we're bringing Settlers of Kalgur into the core game.
Najemnik może być
Finally,
spoko.
we have a
Poet 2 był
much-awaited
git.
upgrade to Betrayal League
F5?
and a set of quality of life improvements.
Czekajcie, bo może jakość będzie lepsza.
Then, we'll wrap up by
Sorki.
today's event, showing you our new supporter packs, and ending with a live Q&A
Najważniejsze
session,
supporter
where Ziggy
paczki
D will ask
oczywiście.
Jonathan and I your questions from Twitch chat. In Path of Exile Secrets of the Atlas, strange rifts have begun to appear across the Atlas. Zana has returned and appears to be trapped
Boże, to
within.
jest muzyka dla moich uszu. Zana has
Partway through
returned.
the endgame, you will meet Egan, an intelligent man of mysterious heritage. These tears in reality he has discovered are actually threads of memory, distorted and made real by the Atlas.
Czyli to jest po
Egan is
prostu
able
brat
to
Zany
create
pewnie,
a
co?
link to these memory threads and open portals to them. Working with Egan, you must step through and find Zana, or whatever remains of
Ej,
her.
mówiłem, że to jest dosłownie syntezis będzie.
Okay, so that's the story background, but how does this expansion actually work? In the Secrets of the Atlas, the pursuit of Zana with Egon is a new storyline that is introduced in high-tier maps. Upon meeting Egan and discovering the tier,
Ej,
he will
jeśli
then transfer it to your map device,
dosłownie
and reveal
syntezis to jedna
this
z
on your
najlepszych
atlas.
lig w całej historii
a
PoE.
thread of
Jeśli
memories.
to będzie syntezis
In
2.0,
order to now access each map on
to
the
to będzie
thread,
pierdolone
you
kino.
simply need to talk to Egan when you're ready, and he'll open the areas in sequence.
Okej.
These areas can be fully influenced by your Atlas tree, scarabs, fragments, and everything of the sort. As you work your way along the thread, you will discover that these maps have manifested dangerous threats,
No.
influenced by the memories of Zana herself. Monsters here are imbued with memory petals. Defeat them to absorb this power, which can be unleashed as a special ability during combat.
Ha?
Different maps on the thread have different abilities, and these abilities appear on an additional mini skill bar next to your regular skills.
A to dziwne. Tak
For
jakbyś
example,
bijąc moby ulta
Memory of
ładował
Disbelief
jakiegoś
will
takiego
cause all
dziwnego.
affected monsters to stop dropping equipment items,
Aha!
meaning they can now only drop more valuable items,
Ult,
like
który na
currency
przykład
and maps. Memory of Panic
zmienia
will
to,
make
co dropi z
all
mobów.
affected monsters revive immediately after death,
Okej, teraz
which
ma
means you
sens.
can get twice as much experience and drops from them. And Memory of Impatience will cause all surrounding enemies to give you their souls, temporarily increasing your power. As you progress further into the thread of memories, the maps can have more than one memory, and thus you can have more than one powerful ability. As you gather memory petals, you can use these powers together. Each skill costs its own amount of memory petals. So using the examples above, you can
No.
first use Memory of Impatience to become way more powerful, then use Memory of Panic to prepare them to revive
Boże,
when
to
they
jest
are
dużo
slain,
guzików.
then use Memory of Disbelief
Ale to
to
jest
cause
trochę
them
jak
to drop
Sentinel.
better, more valuable items.
To jest tak stakujesz
Finally,
różnymi rzeczami.
obliterate them all. The Memory of Panic will kick in, causing them to revive, and then wipe them out again, allowing you to get all
Ale
the
Bambi tu
experience
filtru nie
and
ma.
enhanced drops twice. There are many combinations of these powers, so you'll have to carefully consider how they best work together. That's not the only extra layer of content juicing these maps offer. As you defeat the boss of each map along the thread,
Co to jest?
you are presented with an altar.
O!
This altar will apply a modifier to all following maps in the thread,
Bufujesz sobie tak jakby kolejną
and these
mapkę.
will stack as you go. So the deeper you delve into a memory, the more mods you
Jakby
will have.
wprowadzenie elementu roguelike'owego do
This,
mappingu.
combined with the
To
special
fajne.
abilities, will allow for some of the most juice maps ever run in Path of Exile.
Most juiced maps
Let's
ever
take a
in the
look at
history of
some of
Path
the
of Exile.
ultimates.
Słyszeliście?
You
O
are always
kurwa.
presented with two choices and must pick one. This mod, for example, will cause some rare monsters to be possessed by tormented spirits.
Ekonomia
Where
i
this
dwa
mod
popa.
makes Carrack modifiers free to craft.
Ciekawe czy
Both
more
of these apply
juiced
to
than in
all
Affliction.
subsequent maps in the thread. The final map in each thread is a true challenge, with all the Ultra mods applying to it and guarded by a powerful boss. Each of these bosses are familiar, but dreamlike, drawn from Zana's
Aha,
memories and warped
wersje
by the
bossów z
Atlas into
kampanii.
something very different
Tak jakby.
and terrifying. In this map, you will fight the pinnacle boss,
Oh.
Cirrus. Fueled by Zana's affectionate memories of him, his enhanced abilities can prove to be a unique challenge.
To nie jest jakby
If you
Ubersirus,
manage
tylko
to defeat
taki...
Cirrus, or one of the other
Alpsirus.
warped memory bosses, they will drop a map fragment, which Egan can use to delve deeper into the memory tears. With these, you can access a set of 3 new pinnacle bosses.
3 nowe Pinnacle bossy.
In this arena, the Moment of Reverence, Zana is reliving a memory of her father, Valdo, giving a passionate speech in Oriath. The Atlas distorts this memory of her father
Ej, ale
as
mi
a
się to
powerful,
podoba.
influential man and manifests those emotions into a
Że jest
twisted
więcej
knight,
fabułki scenariuszów.
incarnation of dread.
Caesariusów. To najlepszy storyline w PoW.
Another memory created is the incarnation of neglect and the incarnation of fear. Good luck, exiles.
Okej.
Of course, if you are brave and strong enough to defeat them, each of these new pinnacle bosses have new unique items befitting them. If you slay the
Starcaller.
incarnation of fear,
Starfall
you
or
might be
Mele-
lucky enough
Melecryt?
to find the Starcaller unique abyssal axe. We're gonna show this one
to
because it's
znaczy?
straight up badass. The Starcaller axe is a weapon that can harness the power of the
Okay!
stars themselves
Dobra, żeby
to
był
deal
dobry,
immense
błagam.
damage.
Błagam, żeby to
What
było
makes
dobre.
it shine, however, is that on melee crit, it casts Starfall, a new skill. With
Żeby
the
to
right
było dobre,
build,
błagam.
you can carpet entire areas and wipe out screens of enemies as you rain down the elements upon them.
Niech to będzie rare, ale
Another
giga
item
dobry.
you may find, and this one is my favorite, is the Wine of the Prophet unique flask. It consumes a lot of charges,
Co to jest
but every
divination
time
buff?
you use it, you draw a random divination card. This card appears above you and correlates to a powerful buff. If you draw the Escape card, you'll gain increased movement speed. Or maybe you'll draw the Doctor, which will cause you to gain the modifiers of slain rares you kill.
Ale fajny koncept na flaszkę.
Effectively, you can think of this unique as being many other uniques all in one.
Ciekawe ile
There are
różnych unikatów ma.
many cards to draw, each with varying degrees of power to grant.
Powiedział many.
Okay,
Ciekawe.
but let's get back to the Atlas.
Twisted Fate'em grasz, no?
After defeating all 3 new Pinnacle bosses, you'll be able to find new memory-influenced Tier 16 maps. These maps come with the previously mentioned special abilities and monsters infused with memory petals, but can also roll the same modifiers typically found on Tier 17 maps, making them far more rewarding. With all these new memory maps comes a new item mechanic.
Nowa
Items
mechanika
in these maps
itemizacyjna.
can drop with memory strands, and will have a random amount up to 100.
98 memory
does
jest na
a
tym
few
ringu.
things.
Poka.
When you identify the item, it will increase the tiers of modifiers your item has. Generally speaking, the more memory strands, the better the item will be.
To jest jak
On top
system
of this,
tierów z
whenever you're
P2.
crafting that item using currency orbs to replace or add
to jest
modifiers,
super!
such as alterations, chaos, and so forth,
Uwielbiam
it
ten
will
system
consume some memory
konceptualnie.
strands to make the crafted mods more powerful.
Żeby się opłacało
The
podnosić
new
itemy z
Pinnacle
podłogi.
bosses
Kurwa,
also
tak.
drop new crafting currencies, which can be used to manipulate the amount of memory strands on an item. The Orb of Remembrance will let you add memory strands to any normal equipment. So if you have your perfect base to craft on, and it doesn't already have
Aha,
memory
możesz
strands,
dodać trochę
you
memory
can add
strandów.
some before crafting it. The Orb of Unraveling will consume all
To nie jest
remaining
forging
memory
potential
strands
za
on an
zapocha?
item
Nie.
to
Nie możesz tego
randomly
wyczerpać?
upgrade its mod tiers.
To nie jest crafting
This
potential
orb's
z Lazapocha.
effectiveness is based on the number of memory strands it consumes. The Orb of Intention can be used on memory-influenced maps to reduce item drops, but improve the chance to find items with memory strands. In the process of adding these new currency items, we realized something was missing.
Aha.
The Shaper and the Elder did not have their own
A, to
Exalted
widzieliśmy.
Orbs.
Shaper i Elder
This has now been
Exalty.
rectified. Both bosses now have Exalted Orbs, which can add their influence to an item.
Spoko.
Zana was there from the beginning,
Dobra,
when
ale
the Shaper Pinnacle fight was first added. She helped defeat the Elder, and she was a critical part of the
ale niech
Conqueror's story.
skrócą ich animację.
Now, with all 6 influence types having their own Exalted Orbs, the cycle is complete. It's almost as if we could now do some sort of new, epic, unique item to interact with them.
Oho.
In other news, there of course has to be
Jakiś
Atlas
sekretny
passive
orb
tree support for this
zasugerowali.
new endgame
Okej.
content. Let's take a look at a few things we're adding. The Grasp the Past notable passive skill increases the chance for the amount of memory strands on items dropped in your
Więcej
memory
itemów z
influence
memory
maps to be
strandem.
lucky. This means it will roll the number of memory strands twice, keeping the highest value. By
Spoko.
allocating traumatic experience, remembered kindness, or educated upbringing, you'll decrease the chance of finding memory threads that
Podtargetowanie
lead to
konkretnego
specific
bossa.
bosses, meaning you'll have better chances at finding the memory threads you would like to run.
Tak, Sir Piotr.
This is especially useful if you want to target farm a specific boss because of its unique item drops. In sum, the secrets of the Atlas will have you questioning what is real as you attempt to free Zana from warped memories scattered throughout the Atlas.
Ciekawe jakie
You'll
te
fight
bossy
new
będą w
Guardian and
praktyce.
Pinnacle bosses tormenting her, find crazy new Pinnacle uniques,
Crazy
combine
new uniques.
and unleash memory petal empowered skills, juice maps to new heights,
Ten topór
and
wyglądał
craft
zajebiście.
powerful new items. While we were showing all the juicy rewards from the new endgame
Co ze
system,
złotem?
you might have noticed that a lot of gold was dropping. Let's talk about that. Gold was introduced during the Settlers of Kalgur expansion. It funded the development and operations of King's March. Along with various new features such as the currency exchange,
Już nie budujesz King's March? King's
The
March
Black
jest już
Market.
zbudowane. W 3.26 tak jakby.
and the passive respec system with Faustus. Those features offered by Faustus will be here to stay, along with some of the other services King's March has to offer. We'll get
Błagam, niech to
more
będzie
into that
uproszczone.
later, but don't worry.
Don't
King's
worry.
March has already been completed. There will be no more town building. Like before, gold will be used for town services, but we're also adding a new way to use it in the upcoming league. it's time to talk about
O, pokaż tych
Mercenaries of
merców.
Trathus.
Bez kitu, to może być
In
hit
this
albo
league,
kit.
you will meet veterans who have traveled
Zobaczmy.
all the way from the lawless cities of Trathus. They're ready to offer their sinister services, but not for free. You will encounter these mercenaries as you journey through Rayclast, one in each area.
Okej.
They have their own personalities and come with different builds, skills, and items already equipped. After meeting them, as per the Trathan code, they will challenge you to a duel, a test of strength
Okej,
and
spotykasz go i się
conviction.
duelujecie.
Before beginning the duel, you will be offered an overview of the mercenary you've encountered.
Ty!
Here, you can see the gear they have equipped, the skills they
A
employ,
to
and
śmieszne!
any support effects augmenting
Spotykasz
those
go,
skills.
patrzysz co ma
You must now make a choice. You can hire their services,
i
take one
wynajmujesz
of their
go,
items,
albo walisz się z nim o
or
itemy.
exile them. If you choose to hire them, for a gold cost, they will accompany you as a skilled combatant to
Trochę
assist you
jak
in fighting
połączenie
monsters throughout
systemu właśnie
Rayclast.
Nemezisa z Last Epocha
Once
i
you've
Rogue
decided,
Exile z
you can
P2.
begin the duel. This is a great opportunity to test them, as you don't want to be out of pocket with a useless rookie. However, they're testing you too.
To jest śmieszne,
They
wiesz.
also don't want to be working for an amateur. So, what items might they be using? Generally speaking, mercenary gear is more powerful than what you'd normally find from defeating monsters, as they've been crafting their items too.
Też kraftowali
They
swoje
can also
itemy,
come equipped
powiedział.
with unique items, those that would make sense for the skills they are using.
No, są jakby tiery
There are even some
supportów.
new unique items that can only be obtained from defeating them. One such unique is Scornflux.
Co to jest?
These boots combine agility with the mastery of the arcane. While equipped,
Increases to cast speed from Arcane Surge, applies to
also
movement
apply to
speed.
movement speed,
A to śmieszne,
which is
fajne.
worth noting is now 20% inherently from Arcane Surge, up from
Podzumik.
10. They also grant Arcane Surge when you use a movement skill. This allows for some speedy spellcasters.
To na early ligę
Sometimes you may meet
mega dobre. Cały
particularly
czas będziesz
infamous
popylał.
Trathan mercenaries, bearing the name of their house.
Też nie wiem, czy
These
one bazowo
mercenaries
miały
descend
mesa?
from
Nie
the
wiem.
4 major death trade families in Trathus. They are less common, but have far better items. And they are also the sole source of items with new, infamous modifiers, unseen before in
Nowe typy
Rayclast,
modyfikatorów?
such as these gloves, which convert all of your minions' fire damage to chaos damage. Or this helmet, which causes nearby enemies to take more physical damage as you
Okay.
gain more fortification. If you're not swayed by any of their equipped gear, however, you can always challenge them for the contents of their pockets.
A,
you
ty
lose the
wybierasz
duel,
jedną
don't
rzecz.
worry. You
Albo
don't need to
currency,
give them
albo
an
item.
item.
I się
You
walicie o
aren't
to.
bound to
Okej,
Trathan
okej.
tradition like they are. However, you are bound to Rayclast tradition, so you'll just die.
Almost
Ale
had me.
beka, ale bambik.
Not really.
While playing in a party, each player can decide whether or not they want to participate in combat against the mercenary. For each player that opts in, the mercenary gets more difficult. But if they're defeated, each player has a 50% chance to get a random reward, which is usually currency items from the mercenary's pouch.
Czyli to raczej zazwyczaj będziesz się z nimi nawalał, a nie ich zatrudniał.
Alternatively, party members that opt out of the fight can spectate and cheer you on. Or they might wish for your demise, so they can pick up that allocated divine waiting off screen.
Ale
Dead.
bambik.
Good.
Let's say you won the duel, like their items, and have decided to hire them. What combat skills do they bring to the table? Each mercenary has an archetype. Here, this mercenary is an eruptor, which perfectly couples with my slower, more aura-focused
Nie, to na
Scion.
pewno nie będą miniony.
This mercenary is highly aggressive, and will get a lot of benefit from the auras and buffs I provided.
Okej, jakiś powiedzmy
When
slammer.
I'm playing a more aggressive character myself though, I'll want a mercenary with a bit more resilience and utility. I've just run into a striker, who can spawn with Vigilant Strike. And if you're lucky, a
No
very
spoko, że
rare
jak nie
golden
wiem,
support
mapka jest
that
trudna, ma
causes the
trudnego bossa,
fortified
to sobie na
granted
przykład
by
bierzesz
his
takiego
Vigilant
chłopa, co ci
Strike to
nakłada
apply to me as well.
aury i z Fortify'a,
He will
whatever.
also frequently use Enduring Cry, taunting enemies off of me, and operating as a tanky frontline while I blitz off damage from the back.
Znaleźli sposób na granie w party na SSF-ie, no.
Sometimes when you fight a mercenary, you may notice the skills they're using are different from normal. For example, this sniper is using a Trathan version of Siege Ballista. If you're lucky, you will be able to select it as your reward when challenging them.
Aha!
Then defeat them, and they'll drop the Trathus gem
Niektóre
as
altgemy
promised.
będą do zdobycia tylko z nich.
You
Czyli
can
nowe
only have
gemy.
one mercenary accompanying you at a time, but up to 3 total in your service. The other 2 will wait patiently in town.
Aha, i cały czas możesz mieć
Having varied
zhajerowanego
options is
jakiegoś.
useful, as there may be situations where you need specific backup, like a difficult boss fight.
Ty, i na boss
Any of your
fight go możesz
mercenaries you
zebrać ze
have
sobą.
active, or in your reserves,
I zmieniać
can have
mu
their
gear.
equipment replaced with items of your choosing.
Ty, to dosłownie jest
They
merc
don't level up,
z
so you
Diablo
will
2.
want to be looking out for more skilled and more powerful mercenaries as you advance through the campaign and endgame. If your mercenary falls in combat,
Ja to
they
lubię,
will
ja
need to
lubiłem te
return to
merce z
town and
D2.
spend some gold on healing supplies to get them
Ale
back on
jestem
their
ciekawy, jak
feet.
wyjdzie w praktyce.
Then perhaps consider giving them some upgrades, if you think it's deserved. I just wanted to clarify, mercenaries do not lose their equipment when defeated.
Ale tu wyglądało, jakby na bossie Mercenary
If your
nie dał
merc
zbyt
buddy
wiele.
consistently fails you,
Wszedł w bossa
you
i się
can just
wyjebał
dismiss them
instant.
and find a new, more resilient ally.
You walk your path, I'll walk mine.
Earlier, I mentioned you could exile mercenaries. If you keep running into a mercenary archetype and you think, man, this guy stinks, their gear is trash and they have no auras, you can then choose to exile
Aha,
them.
powiedzmy, słuchajcie, jeśli na przykład
If
grasz
you win the
wojownikiem,
duel,
a
they'll be
cały
forced
czas
to leave with their tail between their
napotykasz
legs.
egzilów, którzy są
And
na
you
przykład
won't
magami,
encounter that
to możesz
archetype again for a
zegzailować
while.
magów, żeby ci się dużo rzadziej pojawiali. No bo na
Now,
przykład wojownicy będą
alongside
mieli
these
gear dla
new
ciebie.
Trathus arrivals, we shouldn't forget about the recent Kalgurin ones too.
Pokaż jak setlery
As
nowe.
we mentioned earlier, the Settlers update introduced gold-based respecking of passive points. You can now do so by talking to a number of NPCs throughout Rayclast, starting with Bestil and Lionize.
Aha, że już w pierwszym akcie będziesz mógł refundować
Black
punkty za
market
golda.
item gambling, previously just available in King's March, is
Też
now
gamba.
available in each town at the same
Po
NPC.
prostu, w kampanii. Spoko.
This lets you buy randomly generated item bases for gold. Very useful if you're stuck for upgrades or searching for a specific unique.
Gamba, gamba.
The currency exchange will be returning too. Starting from Lionize Watch in Act 6, you'll be able to find Faustus, who can help facilitate these trades.
Już w pierwszym akcie Currency Exchange.
Now, after almost a year of building, Johan is finally satisfied with the upgrades made to the town, and now its services can be used to their full effect. King's March is going core, but there will be
szóstym,
no
sorry.
more town building. As you start running maps in the endgame, you'll start to find different ore veins.
Okej, ale ory nadal
Kalgurin workers
znajdujesz.
can mine for you. The shipping mechanic invites you to send these ores and crops to Karui and
To
Kalgurin
pierwszy
ports,
L chyba
and they'll
dzisiaj,
return
jak dla
rewards
mnie.
in kind.
To, że statki wracają. To
By
pierwszy
sending
L
shipments,
dzisiaj.
you'll receive different items. But by sending to Karui port, you will also receive tattoos, which can be used on your passive tree to change what stats they
Nie,
grant.
to pierwszy L dzisiaj.
The
Niestety.
Kalgurin ports will be sending back rune grafts, which is a new passive tree mechanic that replaces the runesmithing service previously offered by the town. These are similar to tattoos,
A to
but
fajne
instead
akurat.
of replacing stat nodes, they replace a passive tree mastery node.
Kolejny
For
sposób
example,
interakcji z drzewkiem,
Runegraft
to
of the
fajne.
Bound reduces bonuses gained from boots, but increases bonuses gained from gloves. Runegraft of the River has a chance to recover your life to full if you reach low life.
To coś jak te super tatuaże.
And the Runegraft of Time, which has a
tocie w
chance
pewnym
for your
momencie.
cooldown skills to instantly recover from their cooldown, which I will note includes cooldowns on your triggers, just in case you wanted to trigger even more spells.
Nie,
There are
dajcie
many
spokój z
other
tymi statkami.
Runegrafts, which cover a
Patologia.
wide range of different builds and stats. Some are more common, and others rarer. You can only use one of a given type at a time, but you can use them on any mastery on your passive tree, which can be particularly useful for off-class investment. Isla has continued to make modifications to the Recombinator. She has developed a new method of recombination that you may recognize from Path of Exile 2. For those unfamiliar, this method allows you to decide which modifiers on the two input items you want to try merge
Aha,
together.
rekombinatory
and it has a
będą
success
tutaj
chance
teraz
you can
działały
see.
tak samo jak w P2.
This method can result in the items being destroyed. However, it is a good option to use when
Szczerze?
trying to create items
Zgadzam.
with fewer mods
Myślę,
to use
że-
as crafting projects.
Myślę, że
Given the
spoko.
existing recombinating mechanic was very powerful for top-end crafting, we
Będzie
didn't
dużo
want to
prostsze do
remove it.
zrozumienia niż to w
We have
jedynce.
kept it, and you can now choose to use it the old way or the new way.
Aha, nie!
By letting
Wybierasz
fate
tryb, w
decide,
którym
it
ma
will
działać.
combine the two items randomly. There is no risk of destroying either item, but it will be less predictable.
A widzisz.
As Settlers is now a core mechanic, we've also added Atlas passive tree support. For
Działa
example,
drop.
if you wanted to gather more Varisium ore, you could take this notable. Each ore has a similar node. Refiner's Bargain converts items dropped by possessed monsters into thaumaturgic dust, sulfite into random ores, and life force into random crops. We've also added a set of Kalguran scarabs, so you can add more ore deposits, increase the rarity of monsters that guard ore deposits to at least magic, or gather smelter
Ja mam
bars
dość
from ore you
Kalgur,
mark
więc
instead of
ciężko się
ores.
akurat na to ekscytować.
To sum it all up, Kingsmarch is now a thriving town where you can employ a swath of workers to collect resources, refine ores, craft items,
Jak ktoś
And run
spędził
maps for
1000
you.
godzin na Settlers of
send
Kalgur, to już
shipments
ma
of
dość.
resources in exchange for tattoos and rune grafts, using those to modify your passive tree to an extent never seen before. Following on from that, we've also made a substantial rework to another important mechanic.
Właśnie tak sądziłem, że będzie
Betrayal.
revamp Betrayala. Pokaż mi go.
As a refresher, and to explain to new players, let's briefly explain what Betrayal is. Betrayal is a mechanic introduced in Act 9 and tells the story of Jun Ortoy and her investigation of the Immortal Syndicate. This is a mysterious group of exiles who can seemingly
Jedna
come
chyba
back
z
from
najbardziej
death.
niezrozumianych mechanik w
You must
jedynce.
help Jun to uncover their leader, the Syndicate Mastermind. The Immortal Syndicate is organized into 4 divisions: transportation, fortification, research, and intervention. As you encounter the Immortal Syndicate members, you'll gain intelligence for each of these divisions to discover the location of their leaders, tracking them to their safe houses. Defeating the division leaders at their safe houses will reward you with
Dobra, i co
intelligence on the
zmieniają?
Syndicate Mastermind. In your journey to track down the Syndicate leader, you'll
Ja bardzo
manipulate
lubię
the
tę
members of
mechanikę
the
w sumie,
Immortal
ale no
Syndicate
jest
to change divisions,
mało zrozumiała.
form friendships and rivalries, and even banish them from the Syndicate for a time. Historically, after encountering and defeating the Syndicate Mastermind, the state of the Immortal Syndicate would reset, requiring you to start from the beginning of the investigation again. This has always been a difficult decision for players and can often feel bad. Do you fight the Mastermind for a chance at the special loot, or keep farming the safe houses that you've spent so long setting up? Well, in the Secrets of the Atlas expansion, we've split out the Mastermind to be completely separate from the core mechanic. The boss is now accessible through a new fragment that has a chance to drop from the safe house leaders
No
at
to
high
fajne,
levels.
czyli możesz farmić
The
Gravitiusa i
Mastermind no longer
Katarinę
resets the
nadal.
state of the Immortal Syndicate.
To fajne.
You can now build your Betrayal board to your liking, optimize it,
No
do
to-
Mastermind fights,
to powiem wam
and reap
tak.
the rewards without having to lose all your
3.26,
progress
Liga
every
Farmienia
time.
Gravitiusa. Lecimy z tym tematem.
The boss fight itself has also been improved, now with significantly fewer immunity phases and new rewards.
O!
By
Mniej
the way,
immunity fast
if you're a new
Katarinie.
player to Path of Exile 1, don't worry about all this detail.
Rework
This content is
Katariny,
optional
żeby nie była
and
taka
you can
zjebana.
discover and engage with it at your own pace.
Nawet wygląda jakby wizualnie była zupdate'owana.
The Mastermind still has a chance
Huge.
to drop a Veiled Orb, now renamed to Veiled Exalted Orb. Veiled Chaos Orbs are being re-added to other safe house leaders. In addition, the Mastermind now drops
Co
the
to
new
jest?
Allflame Embers.
Wait, Allflame
Allflame
dali.
Embers are map fragments
Z
that
Necropolis.
replace monster packs and endgame maps with different types of special monsters. These packs have unusual properties, compositions, or rewards. For example, you might use the Allflame Ember of Kulamak, which replaces packs with syndicate monsters and their leaders, who revive after the map boss has been slain. This might at first sound annoying due to backtracking, but these monsters when revived are far more intense and rewarding.
Na przykład masz Allflame,
It
że
is our
moby
intention
zamienia
with
na
Allflames to
liderów
provide many
syndykatowych.
different types that combine with other mechanics, multiplying with your existing modifiers in new and interesting ways. Another good example of this is the Allflame Ember of Propagation. When slain, special rare monsters added by this Allflame here will spread their modifiers to other rare monsters in the map. This can be useful when trying to create singular, very powerful, and very rewarding monsters.
Czyli co, robisz
Something
jakiegoś
akin to meat
RR-a,
sacks,
który ma
which are making a
50
reinvented
mobów,
comeback with
modów?
this update too.
Wracają Mitsaki!
Another is the Allflame Ember of Resplendence, which adds monsters that drop no items. But when you slay them, you get buff stacks of increased quantity and rarity to enhance the drops of all other monsters. Allflame Embers can be placed in your map device like scarabs, and used in conjunction with scarabs to further
i
customize
możesz
your maps.
jak skaraby
We're
używać
looking
parę
forward to
naraz.
seeing which
Dobra.
combinations players find to enhance their maps.
Jezu, ciekawe co
Perhaps
w
you'll
ogóle
use all
wymyślą.
scarabs, all Allflames, or maybe mix and match.
Dawajcie widzowie
It's
na
up to you.
cmentarzysku, bo liga ekonomiczna będzie rozjebana w
The
tydzień.
Mastermind's unique items have also been improved. The veiled modifiers generated on these items are now from a custom pool exclusive to those uniques. Bitterbind Point, for example, can now have various Spectre-specific outcomes, such as +1 additional Spectre. Aside from improved rewards from the Mastermind,
Co to jest?
all the safe house
Tainted
rewards
Exalty.
have also been rebalanced. We've done a pass on the crafting sprees at the end of many safe houses. For those who aren't aware how these crafting sprees work, well, it's simple.
Czy ja dobrze
There's a
powiedziałem Tainted
crafting bench
Mythica?
with an item in it and a bunch of
shadow.
currency. There's a limited amount of time, and your only objective is to craft the best item possible before the time
Ty
ends.
fajnie.
One of the problems that the crafting sprees have is that they often require you to have specific items on hand in order to best maximize your result. But how are you supposed to know that beforehand? In order to solve this, most of the crafting sprees now offer pre-generated items. This has also
A to
allowed us to
fajne,
add
nie dość, że
much
masz
more
więcej
powerful crafting
czasu,
options
to
in
jeszcze
each
masz
spree.
zawsze tam od razu jakiś
Let's
item
take a look at
włożony.
a few examples. In this spree, a randomly generated amulet
Oh.
or ring will be waiting for you. Test your crafting skill or luck with this
Ty, to jest
reflecting mist
zajebiste, powiem wam
crafting spree.
czemu. To jest
And see
opcja
if you can
pouczenia
create
się
something
mechanik
worthy of
craftingowych,
Kalandra's praise.
to znaczy wprowadza nowych graczy w to, jak działają poszczególne orby, bez strachu, że
And in
przypadkiem coś
this spree, you
zepsują.
will find a pre-generated unique item.
To jest
and a
genialne
new kind
akurat.
of orb that
Bo
resembles
masz
a
nowych
barbel,
gra... Co to
but
kurwa
not
jest?
quite
Czekaj,
the
co to
same.
było?
Normally, you can only corrupt an item once, but uniques in this spree can be corrupted and re-corrupted as many times as there are orbs.
Ale fajne.
This orb also allows you to get 2 corrupted
Orb Gina?
implicits and has a much lower chance to brick the item. It can be a very useful tool for seeking specific corrupted implicit outcomes.
Znowu to
Of
zrobili.
course, if you push your
Damn.
luck, you can still ruin the item. There are also crafting sprees where you still need to provide an item, but those items are generally more accessible and it occurs less frequently. This one allows you to bring your own normal rarity item, then just go ballistic with a whole ton of scouring orbs and orbs of chance, hoping to get your ideal unique.
Powodzenia z Megablodem.
For most sprees, the rank of the syndicate member increases the amount of currency provided, the quality of the pre-generated items, and the time allowed to craft your
Ej,
item.
dobra. Już wam
Aside from the
mówię,
crafting sprees, there are other
13
new options too.
czerwca w farmie Jun. Od 13
If you
czerwca
love
przez
gambling for
miesiąc w farmie
currency,
Jun.
how about you try opening Varici's Emperor's Luck chests? These work just like the Emperor's Luck divination card and provide full stacks of currency. If you're lucky enough, unlike me, you could end up with a whole lot of divines. Betrayal is a good source of veiled items. Veiled items have some important quality of life improvements in this expansion too. All of the crafting bench options normally granted by unveiling items are instead now moved to the core game, so you don't need to run Betrayal to unlock them. They are instead found at the entrances to boss rooms and endgame maps. On top of that, you no longer need to speak to Jun to
To fajne,
unveil
nie? Że nie
items.
trzeba z Junką
You
gadać.
can
Takie
just
quality of
right-click
life.
them, or the equivalent on gamepad, and select which veiled modifier you want to unveil. Overall, Betrayal is now much more streamlined and more rewarding. Happy interrogations.
Robimy to, słuchajcie. Czy cmentarzysko będzie na HC? Tak, i robimy lana cmentarzyskowego. Jak
Now,
coś, to na
before we get
Discordzie
into
masz
our
całe
quality
info.
of life
Wykrzyknik Discorda.
additions, let's quickly talk about some character
Balance.
balance. We will be doing our regular character balance changes, where we are bringing outliers in line to help evolve the meta, but we are also focusing our attention on buffing some specific things. This includes spellcasting supports that specifically enhance self-casting builds,
Okej.
channeled spells,
Winterorb, widzę
adding new
Winterorb!
options to the Guardian,
Dzisiaj w filmie
Berserker,
powiedziałem, że
Elementalist,
błagam o buffy
Saboteur,
dla Winterorbów.
and
I
Champion
pierwsze co
Ascendancy
pokazali to
classes,
pierdolony Winterorb.
which include some favorites from some of the alternate classes from Legacy of Frisia, and buffing a whole bunch of transfigured gems that never really hit the mark.
I są fajne rzeczy z Frisi.
Combined with the new endgame crafting, improved Betrayal crafting options, rune graphs for your passive tree, new Pinnacle unique items, new modifiers and Trathus gems from the Mercenaries, and of course the Mercenaries themselves to act as an extension to your character, it's safe to say there's a lot of new character options and builds to think about. Instead of delving into all of these in more detail, we figured we'd just let you absorb them through the patch notes so you can do it at your own pace. In the Secrets of the Atlas expansion, we've also added a lot of the quality of life features that we know you've all been asking for.
Ej, powiem wam, że Mark Bobert to jest taki gość, że jakby babci do kroplówki nasikał, to ja bym i tak go szanował i lubił. Nie wiem. Real czy nie?
Or by opening any full-screen interface, like the passive tree. You'll also be paused if any lag is detected or if you disconnect. It's worth noting that in certain Pinnacle arenas, a debuff will be applied to you that prevents you from
Pauzowanie
pausing.
było. Jak ktoś nie ogarnął tego, to pauzowanie będzie.
We're also making a change to how you use currency items on strongboxes and monsters imprisoned in essences. Based on the currency in your inventory and the state of the strongbox, these buttons will appear. Valuable currency like divine orbs have been excluded from this as it would often be
Bardzo
wasteful to
quality
use
of
in this
life'a,
context.
ale to już widzieliśmy
The
w sumie.
same applies to essences with the remnant of corruption currency. Orbs of Horizon have been updated. They can now reroll
To
your
będzie
Elder
piękne na
and Conqueror
SSF-a, nie?
Guardian maps.
Horizon,
Doing so will
orbowanie,
reroll the base
Guardian
map
mapek,
and
Elder
the
Slayer
Guardian
mapek.
of that map. The map device now has a small
Ej,
additional
dobra.
inventory.
I błagam, żeby
This is
ten Winter Orb
particularly
był dobry.
useful if you're
Jak
rolling
Winter
any
Orb
maps
będzie dobry w tej lidze,
or
to...
varying amounts of scarabs or other map
Nie wiem, co zrobię. Po prostu nagram 10 filmów o tym.
During breach encounters,
Winter Orb
all
to był
the
jeden z moich
splinters will be
ulubionych
automatically
skilli w całej grze
collected and
ever.
dropped at the end of the
Dosłownie nawet dzisiaj przed streamem mówiłem fajnie, jakby Winter Orba zbufowali. I pokazali, że będą zmiany Winter Orbowe. Proszę, żeby to było dobre. Truskawek, dziękuję ci za
This
Prime'a.
removes a bunch of frustration when you are trying to interact with objects in the world and monsters are nearby. You no longer have to kill all of them first. Vendor windows will now remember your last search. This is remembered until you log out and is remembered on a per NPC basis. The amount of characters you can type in the search field has also been increased.
Jak działa Winter Orb? Masz nad sobą taką kulkę, która strzela automatycznie do przeciwników wokół ciebie, a ty se biegasz. Ale jest tak przyjemny ten skill, tak satysfakcjonujący.
So keep an eye on the patch notes after this livestream concludes. Alongside the launch of Secrets of the Atlas, we are hosting a competitive event where players will race to be the first to kill the new Pinnacle bosses.
Będą wyścigi bossowe.
The event will take place in the hardcore, solo
My sobie
self-found
zrobimy własne, na
Mercenaries of
prywatnej
Trathus
lidze.
League. We have some interesting prizes in store for the winners. Keep an eye on the news in the lead up to launch for more details about how the event will work and what its prizes are. Next up, we're going to be talking
powiedzmy sobie
about
szczerze,
our
wiadomo,
new
kto to
League
wygra, Ben.
supporter packs. Today, we're launching two new series of supporter packs. The Frisian Magistrate and
Cześć,
Crypt
Wiktorku.
Keeper packs. Each tier contains the pack's full face value in points.
Mogą
alongside
nie robić
several
tych
exclusive
eventów i po prostu od razu dać nagrodę Benowi?
As always, the microtransactions
Po co
in these
oni
packs
robią
are
te
purely
wyścigi?
cosmetic and do not affect your
Nie
character's
wiem.
power or progression in any way.
Pokażcie supporter paczki.
The Frisian Magistrate series of supporter packs contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. The Frisian Magistrate character effect will bind your character in thorny vines and roses. You can select which parts of the character you want to have covered. Either your entire body, your lower body, or your upper body. As you approach waypoints, it will emit leaves and golden
Czekaj,
petals
czemu
towards it.
piszecie seks? Co się stało?
When activating the
Co mnie minęło?
waypoint, it will create a burst around you. Envelop your weapon in thorny vines and golden flora with the Frisian Magistrate weapon effect. Your weapon will also create a trail to match as you swing,
A,
and
bo on ma
even
taki
comes with its
akcent, że
own hit
mówi
effect
seks
when
zamiast
slaying enemies.
six.
You are the law while wearing the armor of the powerful Frisian Grand Magistrate. The Spider Blossom Pet activates its defense mechanism,
Pet.
disguising it as an elegant flower when near rare or unique enemies.
No, albo
The
zamiast
Frisian
pet mówi takie
Imperial
pet.
Magistrate back attachment comes in 2 forms. Equip either the Tombstone variant, which will leave tombstones in your honor when you meet your demise, or equip the Cape variant to cause the corpses of slain enemies to become enveloped in rose thorn vines and blossom with golden flowers.
Jak na razie bez rewelacji te supporter paki.
Keep track of how well, or poorly, your ultimatums with the Trial Master have gone with the Trials of Chaos hideout decoration.
Okej.
It will keep track of the total number of waves completed,
To dla ludzi
the total number of
lubiących
ultimatums
ultimatum.
succeeded, or even failed.
Do
On top
trakowania
of
się.
that, it will track the total number of times you've defeated the Trial Master himself. The Crypt Keeper pack series also contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. With the Crypt Keeper finisher effect, death itself will tear through into the realm of the living and steal the soul of slain unique enemies. The Crypt Keeper portal effect creates a gateway for lost souls to pass through.
No dobra.
Become the true master of the undead by wearing the hallowed Crypt Keeper armor set. It comes with a more armored helmet variant and a creepy mask with a spectral hood.
Ma jakieś mega efekty?
Looking to have some fun during idle time in your hideout? The Burrowing Bramble Bash hideout decoration will test your reaction speed. as you
Gierkę
try to
dodaje
whack
jeszcze
as
z
many
leaderboardem
Devourer
do
heads as possible
hideoutu,
in the shortest
żebyś mógł
time.
zobaczyć, kto
It
z
also
kolegów
comes with a scoreboard,
będzie
so
lepszy
you can
w
try to set new
guacamole.
records to show off to your friends, or just visitors coming to trade. Equip yourself with the Ghostly Dead as you ride the line between the living and the dead with the Sacred Crypt Keeper back attachment.
To śmieszne akurat było, to chyba najfajniejsze.
The Sacred Archives map device resembles a magical library with the works of scholars that come to life when you open a map. This map device tracks how many of each core league you've completed in in-game maps.
O, ale pojebany. Map device trakujący
These packs are
ile
now available
zrobiłeś
for purchase on both
kontentu z danej
PC
ligi.
and console, and will remain so during Path of Exile, Mercenaries
To
of
fajne będzie.
Trathus.
Dobra, to ten map
Additionally,
device
any
i guacamole,
microtransactions from the
najfajniejsze
supporter
rzeczy.
packs will be made available for use in Path of Exile 2. Meanwhile, the Paladin and Penance packs leave the store forever at the launch of the Mercenaries of Trathus League. So now's your last chance to purchase them.
Naprawdę jest seks
Additionally,
super
the
rzepaku?
Dawn of the Hunt mystery box will be made available for Path of Exile 1. If you have already unlocked any microtransactions from this box in Path of Exile 2, you will of course immediately have access to them in Path of Exile 1. Thank you so much for your ongoing support.
Odblokowaliśmy tobie
We're
seks.